I think everyone will be relieved that I will not be singing at this moment. But if you have a couple minutes, I hate to interrupt Wincy, but a couple minutes, unlike past galas, this is a plated dinner. I would ask if everyone can be seated so they can take your order, but this is a plated dinner, so if everyone can be seated. I would, again, reiterate in terms of masks, we'd prefer if you're wearing a mask unless you're eating, up here speaking, or drinking. So if you may, wear the mask. And the silent auction, we've only got 45 minutes silent auction. So keep bidding. I'm going to give an update in a little bit in terms of where we are fundraising. On one hand, this is the biggest night we've ever had for fundraising, but we're not at our goal yet. And that auction's a big way we're going to get there. So keep bidding, keep going. If you win at 7:30, we strongly suggest that you hit cash out, because that way you don't have to stand on a long line at the end of the night. And I'll repeat that later. I'd like to thank Amazon and Investors Bank for being our event sponsors. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And one final, just if I may, let's give a big round of applause to everyone working here from the Westwood. Thank you for your service. Thank you. And without further ado, let me stop talking. Wincy, take it away. Welcome to the 40th anniversary celebration, the Elizabeth Coalition, a House the Homeless Gala. Welcome. Thank you. Quick housekeeping note, if any of you won any of those wonderful auction prizes in the back, please check out. It's going to save a lot of time later when you're trying to get out. So if you won, do the self-checkout. Please, we're going to go into then, you'll see, and we'll talk more later, these wonderful forms on your table. We're going to have some folks in about 20 minutes, 25 minutes go around. I've been on the committee for this gala for about 3-4 years now. I've seen where we've gone in terms of raising money. This has been an amazing experience this year, in this unique year. But we're at, I don't know where Renee is, but our Director of Development said, oh, it's our 40th anniversary. Let's raise $140,000. Well, somehow we're at about 120 right now. So if you could help get us to 140 in the next hour, that would be fantastic. I do apologize, I'm talking over dinner, but we want to keep this going. But please, we'll talk a little more later. I again want to thank our event sponsors, Amazon and Investors Bank. I want to thank our silver sponsors, Dale Hagstrom and Eileen Leonard, David Levenberg and Linda Urschel Levenberg, Phillips 66 Bayway Refinery, and Denise and Richard Ritchie. Thank you all. Thank you everyone who's contributed to this amazing night. I want to, at this time, also thank, we have some wonderful officials who have taken their time out, public servants who have taken their time out to join us tonight. We have the Garwood Mayor, Sarah Carper. Garwood Councilwoman, Jennifer Blumenstock. Garwood Councilman Russ Graham. Union County Human Services Director Debbie Ann Anderson. Assemblyman Jamel Holly, who I think will be joining us later. Councilwoman Pat Perkins Augusti. Elizabeth Councilman Manny Grova. And Elizabeth Mayor J. Christian Bolwich. I personally would like to thank, we had an amazing committee put this together. And I just want to thank the folks that, I had very little to do it. I just wanted to make sure the microphone worked. But Renee Smith, Sheila Casey, Linda Flores Tober, Robert Schiller, Michael Callahan, Rose Melillo, Fran Sullivan, Elizabeth Lenz, who put together that silent auction that you all enjoyed, Pat Vogler, and special thanks to the last two names I'm going to give because they're the ones who made this really possible. Alan Gelfand and Judy. Where is Judy? Judy Augustino, thank you. Thank you, Judy. Without further ado, let me thank everyone, though, tonight. But again, we've still got a little more to do to get to 140. At this time, I'd like to introduce our Board of Trustees chair, someone who's been involved with the coalition for a few years. But without further ado, let me introduce Michael Fabricant.
Wrong side. So it's good to be here. First of all, I want to also thank the folks that put this together, because without that committee, we wouldn't have materialized here, and the amount of dollars that will be dedicated to homeless people wouldn't have also materialized. And I want to thank the members of the committee have been identified, but I especially want to thank Judith Augustino, and I'd like her to stand. And thank you. Thank you, thank you. I know there are other members of the committee, but more than any other, and David, there are others who are members. Anyone else member of the committee, can you please stand? This wouldn't have happened without you, and it's always the way. It's not about any individual. It's about a team. It's about a committee. I think a couple of people like Judith drove that committee. I can speak to that very specifically because I know that Betsy, my wife, was driven by many of the members of the committee to do more than she might have done otherwise. So I thank you for all that you've contributed. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. I don't have the license to do this, but I'll do it in any event. I thank you for all homeless people in Elizabeth and larger Union County for what you've raised and the differences it will make in their lives. But I would be remiss if I didn't also thank the staff of the coalition who participated in this. Linda, will you stand up? Renee, will you stand up? Sheila, will you stand up? More as well, without the staffing for this work, it doesn't happen. It's a combination of those who volunteer and those who staff it that make this possible, and not only for us, clearly, but for the homeless of Elizabeth and Union County. So thank you. I've been at this for 40 years, 42 actually. My hair was darker. It was less thin, and my memory was a whole lot better. But the fire in my belly for homeless people has not changed. This condition for homeless people in this county today is no better than it was, frankly, 40 years ago, because the number of homeless people continues to increase. And so every part of what you have done today by contributing to the coalition makes a difference for the expansion of the numbers of homeless people in this city. And so I want to thank you for being here, for supporting the coalition, for supporting our work, which I'll talk about in a moment, but most of all, for supporting homeless people. You are a great number, a wonderful number, but a special number as compared to the numbers of people in Union County. And so I thank you for being here, because it states a special commitment to this work. A number of people who were there for the first 40 years and helped to found the coalition are not here today. And I want to at least name them today. You may not know them, some of you may, but I don't think in a 40th anniversary, to celebrate the coalition, we should fail to celebrate those people who were there at the point of origin. Joan and Michael Driscoll, Bernice Davis, for those of you who had the privilege of knowing her. Donna Grzuchek, for those of you who had the pleasure of knowing her. Mark Schneider, the head of community health. Richard Bennett, who ran legal services. Eddie Gray, an ex-cop who contributed so much to the development of the coalition and services to the homeless. Bill Crum, all of whom are not here in this place, but have contributed mightily to the development of the coalition. But there are others who are here. Sid Blanchard, without whom the coalition doesn't exist. Sid Blanchard, who created the space and the time and the 501c3 and some of the early resources that enabled the Coalition for the Homeless to exist and ultimately to prosper. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Jacinta Fernandez. And Edith Cheney, without whom, again, the coalition does not exist. And then, of course, the person with whom I've shared 50 years, Betsy Fabricant, without whom the coalition doesn't exist. And although Linda Flores wasn't there at the day of origin, she has become a charter honorary member of those first 42 years, because what she has contributed in the last 35 more than measures up to what was created in the first 42. So thank you, Linda. We have traveled far. We began with 1 or 2 interns, and today we have 13 staff members. We began with no buildings, and today we have 5 buildings, hospitality houses, and permanent housing. We began with 400 or 500 unduplicated cases that folks who are homeless or near homeless we served. And today we probably have somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000. That is a double-edged sword. We are the port of last resort and final memory for the homeless people, a place that will work to solve problems when others have given up. We are a place of welcoming and hospitality in an ever harder world to navigate, and a place of respite in a moment when that offers little peace for homeless people. And yet, we have not traveled nearly far enough. The number of homeless people increases each year, and that's why you're here. The number of homeless people next year promises to increase even more than it has in the past. We are faced with an eviction moratorium, that will end. And when that moratorium ends, the number of homeless people will escalate substantially. We've been faced with these crises in the past, and we have survived, and we've been vigilant, and we've been welcoming, and we have found the services needed to provide for most of the people who come through the door what they need. Much more needs to be done, and we persist. And perhaps that's the most important factor in all of this. We persist. We persist in making certain that we try to enlarge our hearts and services to do more, to become more. And even as the dike that we built is threatened with cracks and breaks, we remain vigilant in our commitment to assist homeless people. We never, ever, ever give up. And that's, again, why you're here. That we don't surrender to homelessness, that we don't accept it as a norm, that we struggle to find ways to solve the problem. And at the center of that, at the coalition, is Linda. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart for your contributions. Our work is greatly diminished without your presence and support. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to our stories. Thank you for supporting our work, and thank you for celebrating 40 years of quality service against long odds. Welcome, and I hope you're moved and enlightened by this evening's celebration. We've only just begun. We will continue this fight for you, for homeless people, and for ourselves. Thank you.
If I may introduce our Executive Director, Linda Flores Tober.
Thank you so much. Michael spoke of our past, so I'd like to tie one last ribbon on our past. I'd like Wayman Green to come up forward, please. Rochelle Green came to work for the Elizabeth Coalition to house the homeless as our financial manager. She brought more than 25 years of expertise in nonprofit finances and was a true gift to us. Yet she brought more. She was a communal person and soon was an established member of our staff. Further, she was deeply dedicated to her community. She enjoyed working and being part of community building endeavors and programs such as those administered by Union Chapel Community Development Corporation. She was in leadership with the NAACP and Roselle, the Roselle Collaborative for Youth and Families, the Greater Elizabeth Adolescent Partnership, and the Jefferson Park Family Success Center, and many other organizations that serve the community. She was also the president of the Roselle section of the National Council of Negro Women. Rochelle embodied the ideals of their founder, Mary Jade McLeod Bethune, who was an American educator, philanthropist, humanitarian, womanist, and civil rights activist, and I encourage all of you to Google her name because she was amazing. Rochelle's time with us was way too short, and she passed on December 24th, 2019. But she was a truly bright spot in our agency journey, and we were blessed to be able to work with her. And so today we are unveiling a picture that she loved, and we're going to be hanging this in our office. And so, Wayman, and so it says, you want to hold it? In memory of Rochelle Green, financial manager, for her timeless efforts to make our community a better place for all. And so we just want this tribute to Rochelle. And that will hang in our office forever. So thank you. Put this back here. Hopefully it'll stay up. Thank you, Ro. Sure, you can come back and take that later. So now we move to the future. So good evening and welcome to our 40th anniversary celebration. And don't we have a good party? Coalition always has a good party. Now that we reflected on our past with our board president, Michael Fabricant, it's time to reflect on the next 40 years. And I hope to be here for most of it. So let us journey into the future and see what the possibilities are. Our first stop is the pillar of permanent housing. And our vision is a future where there's a home for everyone, regardless of income, credit history, and rental history. That people of all incomes are welcomed into our community so that we can truly become places to work, live, and play. We'll be working toward that by creating low-income housing in the next 5 years for 50 families. Our next, I think that's pretty cool, right? Our next step on the journey into the future is emergency services. The Elizabeth Coalition to House the Homeless will continue to work with the county, city, and private sector to ensure that our neighbors who are housing insecure receive the assistance they need to prevent them from becoming homeless, and to work closely with our homeless brothers and sisters so they can get into housing. For until there's enough permanent housing for everyone, emergency services will always be needed. Our third stop is community building. As human beings, we crave community. I mean, isn't that why so many of us are so happy to get out and be together, right? Because we need to be with one another. It's essential to our survival. We commit to building communities of neighbors from all walks of life to address the need for housing for people of all incomes. We envision a world where concerned people gather and discuss not how bad the problem is, but how we can work together to end homelessness in our community. Here we call on you to join us in this endeavor. Let us build a community together that welcomes and celebrates everyone and where everyone has a place to live. Our next stop is advocacy. It seems that government can run on its own track with those in charge making decisions for the people. We envision a world where each has a voice and is heard, that they determine the future of housing and begin to make the decisions on their needs and how they should be met. At times, we will be their voice, and at other times, they will speak for themselves. We all have a stake in the future and need to have the space to fully participate in the creation of that future. And our last stop is the commitment to a stability and sustainability. We live in very uncertain times where the sand is constantly shifting, and we have to pivot, twist, and turn to ensure that our work continues. Yet we see a future that, while not guaranteed, that is bright. We have a growing board that is seeing us into the future. So I ask the board members to please stand up. I know you're eating, but you can take a minute. Because it's your vision. If all the board members can stand up, please. And stay standing. We applaud your commitment to the work of making the future happen. We also have a dedicated and committed staff who always give the extra needed to our community. So I'm asking the staff now to join the board and stand up as I call you out. Renee Smith, our Director of Development. Sheila Casey, our Agency Administrator. Megan Heyer, our Fieldwork Coordinator. Jatasha Sharif, our Advocacy Manager. Rachel Toranu, our Front Desk Coordinator. Anna Hernandez, our Lead Case Manager. Rosemary Guerrero, our Case Manager. Letitia Sweat, our Outreach and Operation Warm Heart Coordinator. And Iris Rodriguez, our Government Contract Administrator. We have other staff who are not here tonight with us, but such as Karina Grajales, our Bernice's Place Coordinator, Lori Riley, our Financial Manager, and Catherine Morales, our Case Manager. Additionally, I'd like to acknowledge our students. We have 6 MSW students this year who are an integral part of our community, and really do help the homeless. They work very hard. So if you will please stand up, all of our students. And finally, I would like to ask the St. Joseph staff to please stand up. Please stand up, like the song goes. Together, we are the first responders and emergency room for the very least of the brothers and sisters. We cannot forge a future without you by our side. You are our partners. And now I'm going to if everybody puts in a little bit, we soon have soup fit for a king. So you're part of my soup. Each of us has something to offer. And so we're excited to have you with us on this exciting journey. And I'd just like to make sure I introduce Alicia Vega, who's our coordinator for our housing programs as well. And so now I ask you to be seated and enjoy your meal. Thank you very much. And thank you for joining us in our future.
Thank you, Michael, and thank you, Linda. I'm going to introduce someone who's going to speak about their experiences with the coalition. Kingsley Finch came to the Elizabeth Coalition when he was only 11 years old. His family had been living doubled up with extended family when their housing fell through. He, his mother, and his grandmother joined our hospitality house program where Sister Mary Ann took Kingsley under her wing. With Sister's guidance, Kingsley completed high school and went on to trade school. Now almost 30, he has made his way in the world with a good job and a wonderful family. His wife Sakina and he have 4 children, including the twins who they welcomed this March. Kingsley never forgets to visit us at the Coalition to share photos and stories and the latest news. He is not only part of our unfolding story, he is part of our family. Kingsley.
Hello, hello, hello. Like you said, my name is Kingsley Finch. I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself and how the Elizabeth Coalition helped me and my family over the years. The Elizabeth Coalition helped me and my family, like he said, when I was about 11 years old. They took me and my family in, out of a shelter into a home that was owned by the coalition. Food was never a problem. They always give us a basket full of everything we needed. Same thing, like, I'm a little emotional right now, like, because I appreciate every single, like, without anybody in here, everything I've been through. I'm not even looking at the people right now, honestly. Yeah, no, seriously, I feel different, like, just being in here with you guys right now. Because I really appreciate everybody. Because I've been to camp because of you guys. I've been snowboarding because that's all, the money you guys donated. You kind of hear it in my voice right now? I'm sorry. I'm a little emotional, seriously though, seriously. But it's in a good way. You gotta understand that. But like I was saying, food was never an issue. They always provided us with everything we needed. Christmas time, Santa Claus never forgot us. Everybody got a gift. Nobody got forgot about. Like I said, You don't understand, man. Even to this day, I still get help. Even to this day, like I'm gonna be personal. They helped me with my rent last year when I wasn't working. The coalition helped me with my rent. The coalition been helping me for the past like almost 20 years. Honestly, I haven't known anybody that helped that long, and that's a long time to help anybody. You get what I'm saying? Like I'm really off script right now, but I'm just speaking in the bottom of my heart, and I appreciate everything that everybody really did for me. And thank you, Linda. Like, thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Sean McLean. That's a different program right there. You see, I know him from a different program. The mayor, for the land that he donated or whatever he does. No, but you get what I'm saying? No, but all jokes aside though, I really appreciate everybody and everything that you guys do though, because it goes a long way and it shows. It shows. Carlos is laughing at me right now, but it's all fun though. Christmas time is coming. I know they're not gonna forget us this year too. And my two new kids that's gonna be here. So. And one person I wish that would have been here that's like a mother to me is Sister Marian, but I don't know if she couldn't make it. She's been there through hell and back with me. I was a little bad kid growing up. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. She was always there. She was always there with me in school. She was really like a mother to me now, and I really appreciate everything she did for me, though, seriously. Guys. Everybody needs a second mother and somebody you could really lean on, like the song said earlier. Lean on me. And I've been leaning on St. Joseph's for a really long time. And I really want to say, I really appreciate it though. And I thank you guys.
Thank you, Kingsley. At this time, I'd like to introduce our first presenter for the evening, our Director of Development, Renee Perrier-Smith.
Take my mask off for a little bit. Good evening, everyone. I just want to say thank you all for coming out and being a part of this momentous occasion as we celebrate 40 years and as we look towards another 40 years. So we just want to thank you for being here and just allowing us to celebrate and also to celebrate some of the individuals in our community who we feel are doing amazing things and who are supporting the coalition in the work that we do. So it is my distinct pleasure to introduce to you the honorees for the Founders Award for Community Engagement, Dr. Peggy Rothbaum and New Jersey Souls in Unity. New Jersey Souls in Unity was formed to alleviate the shortage of PPE and was operational from March 2020 to June 2021. Where they sewed and donated almost 34,500 masks. This dynamic team made it possible for hundreds of thousands of Union County residents that we serve to have face masks during the height of the pandemic. This was a mammoth task, and they rose to the occasion. They saw a need in the community, and they filled it. Thank you to Dr. Rothbaum, Peggy, for introducing this great organization to the coalition and for also meeting with me in the Home Depot parking lot to deliver said mask. At some point, we thought they were going to kick us out. Thank you for your hard work and dedication to keeping our community safe. I'm glad I ate my vegetables just now. These are heavy. Okay. Peggy, this is yours. It's very. Okay. All right. We'll just leave them over here if you don't mind, because they're pretty heavy. I'll carry this over for you. Hey, you want to answer? Yeah, and I'm going to introduce yours. Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm really thrilled to be here. And I would like to introduce Phyllis Kevit Howard, who was the host of our longest running non-contact depot.
Right. First of all, I want to thank the Academy. No, I see that there's no musicians here, so they can't cut me off. Peggy told me I had 55 seconds. And let me tell you, when you try to put, I think you guys have been watching this video. When she asked me to put something together, we had stopped in July, and I went back through things that I just kind of threw in a bin, and I said, wow, I can't believe we did that. And we did this all without ever having a meeting. And I'm sure all of you here have been on a PTA, some type of committee. I'm a Presbyterian, and they have meetings and nothing gets done. Well, this got done because these women were warriors, and they knew what the mission was, and they just did it. And that was just it. You went on, we did it through Facebook, love, hate, technology. But you went on, Shannon had a page that said, read this first. And that's what everybody did. And my porch was used as a depot, and everything had to be contactless. So we put it out, there's a picture, and people would come and go as they needed, and Friday was our drop-off. Well, there were times where I was like, oh, we're running out of elastic. And elastic got to be like king. And women started making ear loops out of T-shirts, the mother of invention, necessity. So it's like I said, I look back and it's just amazing. And there's so many women that I've never met. I met some of them on the porch. And it, like I said, to make 35,000 masks and not to have a meeting and to get it done was just fabulous. But yeah, and like I said, there's so many women out there that just did it. Like I said, Peggy is being honored tonight, but I know, and she keeps saying, that's the other thing. There was no queen bee in this organization. It was all worker bees. It was drones that got it done. And thank you for realizing that. And let's see here. I made notes. Like I said, forget the 55 seconds. But you've seen the video here. Also, we have a table that showed, it's amazing. I don't know, home ec. I don't know if any of you guys had home ec. I mean, we're talking old school. But a lot of people got out sewing machines and things that they haven't done in 30 years. And these masks were pieces of art. It was just, like I said, amazing. And I will share one story. I felt like it was like World War II again with people, with metal. And I'll never forget this elderly woman showing up with the cutest little vintage sewing bag and said, I thought you needed this. And I still have that little thing, but it was things like that that just made it amazing. And once again, there's nothing I really can say, but that it's historic, and women were doing it because of this pandemic. They knew it didn't play, and they wanted to get the job done. So, thank you, Peggy and New Jersey Women's Sews. Who's next?
Peggy.
Hold it against you and separate. Just hold that tight. You want to do the other one? Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Our next presenter, the Mayor of Elizabeth, J. Christian Bolwich.
Thank you very much. To the hometown mayor, Mayor Sadisco, and the city council here in Garwood, and Councilman Manny Grover from the city of Elizabeth, it's my honor to present the award for the Founders Award for Public Service. And when I was asked to present this award to Councilwoman Patricia Perkins Auguste, I was told I had 2 minutes. If you've ever heard the Councilwoman speak, she can't say hello in 2 minutes. So I'm going to try to keep this short, but I met the Councilwoman 30 years ago in 1991. It's a long time. She was the president of the NAACP at that time. And I asked her if she wanted to be part of an effort in running for city council against a 28-year incumbent at that time, who we all felt shouldn't be in office for 7 terms. And we're in our 8th term. So that was probably a really bad strategy back then, considering where we are today. But she said yes. And we've been running mates now for all of those years. And I can't think of a better person and hardworking person in the community than Patricia Perkins Auguste. Whenever I chat with her, and I don't know if you've ever been in a discussion with her, I don't know if you've ever had to sit on the other side of the desk when she's asking for something, or telling you what needs to be done, or it has to be done this way or that way. She usually gets her way. I'm probably one of the few people who tell her no. And then when I tell her no, she goes out and rounds up a bunch of other allies to have them call me and say, there's got to be a way you can do this, Mayor. So you can look at all of the awards that she has received in the past and look at her work that she's done in the city of Elizabeth. But not only there is a public persona of Patricia Perkins Auguste, there is a private one that necessitates your ability to listen. And as a mayor, I'm a better person and a better mayor because I've listened to Patricia Perkins Auguste for the last 30 years. She has the ability to not only help you find your way, in my case and many times, but she also has the ability to relate to the community, whether you were black, white, purple, brown, or blue. She can reach out to you and touch you in a way that she's going to help you succeed. When I saw that young man speaking before, I figured the first thing I should do is get up here and say, if you're not working, then you should come to City Hall and get a job. Because if I don't say that, the councilwoman's going to be in my office this week telling me that that young man needs a job and he did a great job speaking. Can you get him in the Public Works Department or somewhere? So I figured I'd beat her to the punch. But when the Elizabeth Coalition picked her today for the Founders Public Service Award, there's a lot of us who do public service. But on the 40th anniversary, there's one that stands out. Congratulations, Patricia Perkins Auguste.
I said, Mayor, how much I owe you for that? He said, he said you have to speak for 2 minutes. I said, oh, 2 minutes? Can I pay you some other way? No. I'm truly really humbled and really honored to think that the Elizabeth Coalition to House the Homeless even thought of me in this fashion. I met the coalition probably the second month when I was on the council, because they came to the council meeting, and there were some real critical issues about homelessness and what are we going to do when they needed funding. And we were a new administration, and they wanted to make sure that we understood that the need for housing the homeless was something very important and critical in the city of Elizabeth. I soon met Linda and her team, and it's just been, you know, whatever you want, whatever you need. I'd often beat the mayor up, the director of planning community development, my colleagues, about the need for affordable housing. And if we building a unit or someone's building 100 units, can't we get 10, low and moderate? You know, they tired of me saying it. It's like a broken record. But, you know, the Bible teaches me that the poor you'll always have with you, meaning that we always can find a need and find a reason to help those who are less fortunate than ourselves. I'm just so reminded, I thought about today and I was like, you know, God said, you know, I was naked and you gave me no clothes. I was hungry, you fed me no food. I needed shelter, you gave me no shelter. And then the disciples said, when did we see this, Master? We never saw you in those conditions. And God said, when you do it unto the least of these brothers and sisters, you did it unto me. So that's just what I live by. It's just very simple. You know, there by the grace of God go I. There by the grace of God go us. You know, who makes the choices? Is it just fate? If it's just happenstance? Like what happened to the young man? He was a child. He fell into that. So who makes the choices? So there by the grace of God go all of us. And so I'm just so delighted that the coalition exists. And it is something that we all need to look out for our brothers and sisters. And we all need to look out for humanity. It's about humanity's sake. And the mayor's correct. I see no color. I see heart. I see family. I see a need to survive. And so that's how I work. Again, Linda, where's she? And then they have this whole program of feeding people in the summer. It's not just housing, as the young man stated. It's not just housing. It's counseling. It's after school. It's feeding people in the summer when all the summer programs stop. You know, Linda's like, oh, we don't have a summer program to feed the people that we give 500 lunches to a week. And I said, okay, I'll help. We help. COVID came. How are we going to do this now? We can't touch. And so then we got another organization involved, a youth organization involved. And that's another thing what I love about the work of the coalition. You know, they bring the youth involved to let the youth see that, you know, at some point in time, I can't be here forever. So other people got to come, and we got to teach our young people how to love humanity. For humanity's sake. We have to teach them how to love our society, just for the society's sake. And so the coalition does that so well. They have groups come from different parts of the country, you know, to come and see the work during the summer times. It's just the work that they do is truly God's work. It's organized, it's peaceful, it's productive, and it yields results that no money can really buy the results, but we need the money for the process. So continue to give, continue to understand that, yeah, the coalition 40th, 40 times 40 times 40, and times 40. We need the coalition now more than ever. So again, thank you for the award. I don't take it by myself. It's for my colleagues, the mayor, because I do work with a group of men, a group of all men. So all men, I do work with a group of all the legislators are men, including the mayor. So I take this award on behalf of all of us and say, keep going, coalition. We love you, we honor you, and thank you so much for this award. I love you. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you. All right, this is that time, as I said, my wife wouldn't let me wear the pants that go with this, but it's the season of giving. And we are at $120,000 for a campaign that our goal is $140,000. I would ask all of you, there are pens in those bags that are on your tables. If you can take those out, if you can fill out those cards that are on the tables, if we can get to that last 20,000 and get to 140,000, and Renee Smith's dream can come true, and we can have 140,000 for 40 years, that would be amazing. And all the good work that Judy and everyone else did can come true. So if you don't mind, and we've got some... Thank you. Thank you. So we just need a little less than 20,000 now. So if you can, I think we have some assistants, some employees, some students who are going around and waving cards. If you have any card that you're filling out, please hold it up, and we will have someone gather that card. I thank you. And then I'm going to keep this moving. But if you could, that last push, and then it's sort of like the PBS, the NPR drives. If we hit 140,000, I'll stop begging. So if you can get to 140,000, that would be great. And while we do that, I will start to introduce our next speaker, someone else who has experienced the coalition, benefited from the coalition. I'll let her speak in her own words, but Lexis DeMeo and her partner are parents to 3 busy children. When we met Lexis, she had no place to go. In despair, she turned to the Elizabeth Coalition to house the homeless. She was eventually referred to a 2-year supportive housing program where she could get her feet set again. Lexis's gift is her innate ability to advocate for herself. If there is a solution, Lexis will find and grab it with faith and with humor. And she pays it forward. Lexis and her partner have now, most recently, become a resource family for a child in foster care. So if I may introduce Lexis DeMeo.
Thank you. Hello. I would like to say thank you to everyone at the Elizabeth Coalition for giving me and my husband and my children an opportunity to thrive at life and have a new beginning when we thought it was over. I could never be grateful enough for everything that they have done and taught us. Not only have they provided us with rental assistance, they also have all kinds of support for ourselves and our children throughout life. From financial workshops to self-improvement workshops, and even having special events for the children. It was about 3 years ago I came to Elizabeth Coalition to seek help and answers to what I can do to help me and my family. I remember walking through the door and being greeted by Linda, who directed me to one of her workers named Bianca to help me. I proceeded to explain my situation and what hardship that we went through to Bianca. She handed me a tissue and said, "It's going to be okay. You are here. We are here." And that's all I needed to hear. When she looked at me and she said, "Now you'll no longer need to worry about being homeless. We will make sure to do our best efforts that we can and exert ourselves as much as we can to help you and your family." From those kind words and going forward, I felt like I knew that there was a God. For everything, I am so grateful for the people at Elizabeth Coalition. You guys are awesome, all of yous. Keep doing what you are doing. You gave me hope, and you'll give others hope and the power they need. I hope everyone has a happy holiday, and thank you again. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Lexis. I'd like to introduce our next presenter, Vice President for Communications and Marketing at Trinitas, the President of the Elizabeth Rotary, or President-elect of the Elizabeth Rotary, Doug Harris.
Thank you so much. Some really tough acts to follow, and the mayor and Pat. Always tough to follow you guys. I'm Doug Harris. I work at Trinitas, and we actually were the recipient of a great many masks during the COVID pandemic from the coalition, from Josephine's Place. I saw Gail from St. Joseph's Social Service Center, so we were very grateful for that. Thank you so much. I've been at Trinitas for 40 plus years, and I've also been a member of the Rotary Club of Elizabeth for just about that length of time. I've known one of the honorees for those 40 years, Bill Amelia, and I've known the other honoree, Ken Ricciuso, for most of those 40 years. But I know, too, that they have been partners together in work, and they've been partners in benefiting the community in so many ways through the Rotary Club, and it's really a pleasure to tell you about that now. Just one example, the Albert and Louise Davis Scholarship Fund. It's given almost $700,000 since 1986 to deserving Elizabeth High School students. Over 442 deserving students from Elizabeth High School have benefited, and Bill and Ken have been integral to that effort since the very beginning. Ken is the current president of the Albert and Louise Davis Fund, and Bill has chaired the selection committee for more years than I can count. That's just one example. Another example is Polio Plus. It's an effort by by Rotary International and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to eradicate polio from this world. And they are this close. I think there's 2 countries left that have cases of polio. Bill has championed that effort locally through the club and regionally through the district. He's the face of Polio Plus for many years. Bill himself is a polio survivor, and I know I can say that because he's been very vocal about kicking polio's butt for as long as I've known him. So congratulations, Bill. Congratulations, Ken. This is very well deserved, and I'm honored to be part of this presentation.
Well, thank you, Doug. And good evening, everyone. First, want to give my thanks to the coalition and the members of the committee for selecting me as one of the honorees tonight. I don't think there's any organization I know of that I would rather be honored by than the Elizabeth Coalition to House the Homeless. Actually, my involvement with the coalition goes back to 1997. My first go-round as Elizabeth president, when I got a visit from Ray Kostiak and Bill Crum asking me if Rotary would help out in promoting the coalition basketball tournament, which we did. We held a luncheon to promote the event, and somehow or other I got wrangled into being on the committee for probably about 10, 12 years after that. Great meetings at the Fabricants house, and it was a great event. If you had the pleasure of being there during its heyday, it was tremendous. But actually my involvement in volunteerism started in 1988, as Doug alluded to. That was the year I joined Rotary. I joined because my boss made me join. I got called into the office and said that there was a new aspect of my job. It was to be a member of the Rotary Club. And I thought, why? I'm happy doing what I'm doing. I don't understand. I didn't know that much about Rotary. So I joined, and I started going to Rotary meetings. And originally, I went with the enthusiasm of going for a root canal. But after a while, I got to know the people. I got to know Bill. I got to know Doug. And I got to see the work that they did in the community. And it was so impressive. Scholarships and donations to organizations like the Coalition. Dictionaries. We've given over 30,000 dictionaries to students in Elizabeth. So here I am 33 years later, still in the club, retired now, and just met a wonderful group of people in Rotary, and just love the impact we have on the community. And it also became a springboard for other organizations that I've volunteered for. So I would suggest if you don't volunteer, you should volunteer. It gives you a whole different perspective on life when you're out working with the community, helping people, and it's also beneficial. I read on the internet, so it must be true, that that volunteering is good for your health. You'll live longer. So please, if I know I'm preaching to the choir here, probably asking for volunteers, but if you haven't, get involved. It's a wonderful opportunity to serve your community and serve the people who live there. So thank you so much for this.
Thank you so much, Ken. And now I'd like to give you Bill Milia.
Thank you, Doug. Initially, I'd like to congratulate the previous winners. And I want to pick up on the councilwoman. I was looking in Matthew 7 in the New Testament, and there are 3 things. It says, ask, seek, and knock. Going and thinking about the coalition, how many people have knocked on their door? How many people have they helped? Innumerable. And this is what the coalition is all about. They knock, and they help. And I hope another 40, 50, 100 years, they will continue to do this. Now, if Linda's here 100 years from now, we're in trouble. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Congratulations. Well, that ties in well because our next presenter is Linda Flores Tober.
I'd like to call up the members of Stateside Affairs to come forward. So this award is for the Founders Award for Social Responsibility, and it goes to Christine Pizan, who could not be here tonight, and Stateside Affairs. Stateside Affairs is a woman and minority-owned government affairs and public relations company based in New Jersey. Founded in 2015, the company's reputation for success has garnered both state and regional recognition for its work in public affairs, print, and digital communications. As industry leaders, our team prides itself in delivering plans, their team prides itself in delivering plans that are beautifully designed and skillfully executed, gaining their clients nationwide recognition for quality work. Christina, I met when she was at United Way, and later when she ran for Elizabeth School Board. Always, she was one of the nicest people I have met in my years. Extraordinarily bright and talented, she went on to found Stateside Affairs, and most recently has become the editor of Tap Into Elizabeth. There's a lot of things I can say about Christina. She's championed a diverse array of issues using creative marketing solutions, strategic thinking, and effective problem-solving skills. Again, Christina has been, as Stateside Affairs, has been recognized multiple times. And you should take the time to read about both Christina and Stateside Affairs in your program, where they list all of those awards. But what makes Christina stand out is her commitment to this community, her compassion for the homeless and poor, and her outstanding professionalism. And that passes on to her own staff. And so it's with great honor and pleasure that I present the Founders Award for Corporate Responsibility to the members of Stateside Affairs.
Thank you, Linda.
You gonna talk?
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Unfortunately, Christina couldn't make it tonight, but we're so very grateful to receive this award on behalf of Christina Pinzon and Stateside Affairs. As a minority and woman-owned business, we don't take these recognitions lightly, and while we are truly grateful for the recognition, we would be remiss not to recognize the true champions in all of this. A special thank you to the Elizabeth Coalition and to you, all the volunteers and supporters, for the work that you do and for showing up for other folks in the times of despair. Some of us here have packed lunches together, made cold calls together, and worked desperately to place families in emergency housing. But the Elizabeth Coalition does this 24/7. It's not about what we receive, but what we give during our time here and the lasting impact we have at this very moment to help others. Thank you to the Coalition and their volunteers, the true angels working amongst us every day. Thank you to those who follow us to be part of their lives. And lastly, thank you to our team at Stateside Affairs. We would not be able to give without their hard work and compassion. Miss you all, thank you. Those were Christina's words, and she wanted me to say it on her behalf tonight. Thank you for your support, everyone. I just wanted to say a few words of my own quickly. The Elizabeth Coalition was probably my very first client while working with Stateside Affairs back in 2018. And it was actually at this gala in 2018 that was my first event. And it's been an honor to work with every single member, their staff. Linda, the work that you do is incredible. And it's been an honor, really, to get to know everyone and get to know all the supporters, the volunteers that put countless hours of their own time to put something like this together. So I want to give a round of applause to all of them tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you.
Congratulations. I understand, late-breaking news, we have a resolution or resolutions that are to be read, and I introduce, if I may, Assemblyman Jamel Holley.
Trust me, this is not CNN or Fox. But I am here, and I thank you so much for the introduction. I first want to start off by thanking Linda. Where's Linda? Linda, stand up for a second. Come up here for a second. I know that Linda has been recognized tonight on so many occasions, but let me just tell you this, that as an elected official, and I've been an elected official for 16 years, you don't know the position it is for us to have to receive a phone call or have to get assistance from people that we don't know. And then when it clicks of where we can go to a person to get help, right away we think the Elizabeth Coalition of the Homeless. And her team and the volunteers. Let me just say this, that takes an incredible dedication to people. They're not paid a lot. They don't make a lot of money. They're not millionaires. They're not even probably over six figures. But for people to get up every single day, and we should make sure she gets to six figures, by the way. But yeah, that's the CNN breaking commercial that she needs. But it takes a tremendous amount of dedication for a person who gets up every single day with her and her team to do the work that they do. And I just want to say from the state of New Jersey, thank you so much for all your efforts that you all continue to do. All of you are here tonight as contributors or here as guests of the honorees. We thank you because every little dollar helps. Every bit counts. That's a family fed, a bed made for someone who needs it. And all of you from the bottom of my heart that represent Union County, we are truly greatly appreciated for that. Thank you very much. Lastly, I want to thank all the other honorees. We do have late breaking CNN, Fox News, Max TV, C-SPAN, resolutions from the state of New Jersey. But I want to commend across the board all the other honorees tonight. There were a great selection. And to me personally, lastly, I want Councilwoman Patricia Perkins Auguste to please stand. For many of you who don't know politics here in Union County, I guess a few of you do, from the smirk of that, But as the first African American state representative to represent District 20, there was long before individuals who paved the way for me. Councilwoman Pat Perkins was the first African American and only woman to sit in the city of Elizabeth on the town council and remains that person today. So before it was the Jamel Hollies of the world, before it was the Manny Grovers of the world, before there was all these other new, young, vibrant elected officials, there was Pat Perkins paving the way for us, and she still remains today. So Pat, I want to congratulate you. This is a just due honor. And to all the other honorees, congratulations, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to greet you all. Happy holidays and a blessed new year to all of you and your families. God bless you.
Thank you. I'm very tempted to have Linda sit and then bring her back up again. I think in the interest of time, we were going to announce a few big silent auction winners, but I know we're about 20 minutes behind schedule, so I think we're going to, I'm getting the hurry up sign. So if I could, one, thank all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But in honor of 40 years of incredible effort and work and determination, I'd like 3 people to stand up and receive our cheers and our thank yous, who combined, depending on the math I heard from Michael in the beginning, it could be 111, 113, or 117 years. But if Linda, Michael Fabricant, and Betsy Fabricant can all stand, and we can honor them and clap and say thank you. So, I believe that concludes our evening. I look forward to Linda and I doing this for the 80th. So, we'll start planning. Thank you all. I think we want the award winners maybe to take some pictures with, these are heavy statues, so I want to do this right. But enjoy, safe home. Thank you all. Have a great night. Thank you.